What up, world? It's Wednesday, so it's time for my midweek pickup. I'm gonna leave it a little short this week. So this week I wanted to talk about things that happen that we have no control over. Of course, we all have been watching the news and we've seen what happened in France here lately, and it's a horrible tragedy. Sending out my prayers to everybody on that side of the world, sending out prayers to just everybody, period, who's affected with senseless violence, terrorism, and the things that go on in our world today. Um, what I really want to say is something that may seem redundant, but it's something that we always have to try and do, and that's be ready for anything. Anything can happen to us personally, anything can happen to somebody that we know, anything can happen, as you see, to a whole country because things keep happening, and people are still trying to flex their power and get, I guess, a certain spot in the world today. Being greedy never is never something that's going to get you where you want to be. Being forceful in a negative way is not going to get you where you need to be at in the world. Um, Trying to rule with the iron fist, causing multiple innocent deaths and destroying buildings and people is never going to get you to the place that you need to be to. And I know that none of my people who watch my midweek pickups are, of course, terrorists or nothing like that, but I'm just speaking in general terms. Those type of things are never going to prosper for yourself. You may get your point across for a few days, or you may instill fear in people's heart for a short time, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. You will pay the ultimate price and you will see the error of your ways. So with that being said, like I said, everything happens for a reason. God does not make mistakes. We may not understand some of the things that He puts us through, but always remember He does not make mistakes. And always remember that no matter what, you have to try and be prepared for anything that could happen to you. You have to be prepared. You have to always try and set up some kind of way where you have an emergency stash, or you have some kind of plan to fall back on, because if you don't, and then when shit hits the fan, you're stuck. But if you are prepared, then you can go on and pay whatever you have to pay to get whatever done. You can fix whatever problem is happening. And again, I'm not comparing small problems to the tragedy that happened in the world here last week. I'm just saying any kind of problem, any type of tragedy, any type of situation can always happen, but you have to try to make sure that you're prepared mentally, physically, and financially. The things that happened in France, that's something that you can't prepare for mentally, physically, and financially. But staying prayed up, praying to God is something that can, when something does happen, it's something that can give you a better hold on everything, a better understanding of it, and a better way for you to take things in, versus if you're not prayed up and you feel like it's hit you and your whole world is collapsing and falling apart. That's the point that I wanted to make with that today. So again, I'm not saying that the tragedy that happened last week is something that is small and something that is comparable to, I guess you could say everyday problems and tragedies. That is a big tragedy. A lot of people have lost their lives. A lot of innocent people have lost their lives. And a lot of idiots are trying to make a place in the world today where they don't need to be. So, with all that being said, I'm going to end today like I always do. Keep God first, keep your family second. Everything else will fall into line. And remember, try to make sure that you are prepared for any and everything. Stay prayed up. Make sure you have that little extra set to the side. Even, trust me, I know I don't want to have to ever dig into the extra on the side, ever, especially when it's a tragedy, but or some kind of mishap. But we're human people. We get sick. Things happen sometimes. Sometimes we get to the point to where we don't have a choice but to shell out the money in order to get something fixed on ourselves so we can go further into the future. I was telling my dad this earlier. It's kind of funny because when I first started my job a long time ago, I got the cheapest dental insurance that I could have gotten. And because I've never had problems with my teeth, never had to go to the dentist, none of that. Probably went to the dentist maybe 6 times in my whole lifetime. Situation happened, have to go to the dentist. Now I look back at it, instead of me spending the extra, and it's ridiculous, $16 to get better dental care, which I could have. I was young and I wasn't thinking for the future. I was just thinking for right now, and they'll take this little $8 out versus $24. If I was thinking for the future and thinking ahead, I would have went on and got the best dental insurance, even though it was $24 a month. Still, I would have protected myself a little bit better. So I'm just using that for an example. Like I said, everybody keep God first, family second, everything else will fall into place. With that being said, I'll see y'all next week, next Wednesday.